Hey fam!
Let's be
3D.
Well, hey fam.
We're
Welcome
back.
What
to
up?
part two.
Yes.
I don't know how
Technically
many.
part
Of our
four.
We have a lot of
120 part
parts.
series.
About mission trips. Anyway, so we're having probably way too much fun recording this for y'all.
I know.
But we didn't realize, I guess, how much stories we
I
had.
know,
The
right?
more
I know,
we
right?
talked about it, the more
Yes.
memories popped up, and we're just all
We
over the
really
place.
thought we could do this in 2 parts.
Yeah, we
didn't
did.
work out. We should have known better. But
Should've known
anyway,
better.
thank y'all for listening, and we hope y'all enjoy. Here we go. Da-dum.
Dun-dun-dun,
Da-da-dum.
dun-dun-dun.
Please stop. Well, no, I was going to say that just moving on from the camps.
Yes.
Because we
Yes.
spent a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
did.
time in there.
Did we
but
go
just
to
kind of
Mortar-
rolling through
Did
everything.
we go to Mortavita straight after Merch FC?
No, we had...
we had the
just-
other concert tour.
Well,
okay,
exactly.
so it's switched
So-
around on our
Right.
thingy.
Anyway.
Okay.
So
Oops, that was my
after
fault.
the teen
It's okay.
camp, we went to Zlatibor.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we were
Wiped
shot.
out.
We needed a little
And we need a little
vacay
break.
Yes.
So we went up into the mountains to this resort
where
kind
we
of
first had
place,
Kimac.
and it was just beautiful.
Zloty
up there.
board would remind you of a kind of a cross between Gatlinburg
Yes.
and
Yes.
Estes Park.
It
You
was
see why I
very
have a
similar.
love for mountains, y'all?
Yes.
It's because of Serbia.
It is. And it was cool in the morning because of how high we were. It was just a really neat place. And because I this just hit me like I just remembered. While we were there, Darko met someone and they were having a camp too, and we went and played there for one night.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if he
Yes.
met them or if he found out they were having the camp and it was, I don't
Darko's
remember.
very well informed.
Yes. I don't know
No,
how
no,
it
no,
happened,
no.
but we weren't planning to
No.
do it. We ended up doing
Well,
it.
Right.
well, I think there was that possibility, and once it worked out, it was like we did it, and it was just that was a great time. We also so we really rested and everything right there. So cool story during that little bit was we went to this like sort of like if you went to like Silver Dollar City and there's parts of Dollywood that have it to where it's like an old time kind of thing. So this is back in
An
about
old
the
village
70s.
recreation.
Old
Oh,
village
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Ciudad
yes.
Goino was the name
Right,
of the place.
right.
What was it?
Really
Ciudad
From Sir-
Goino.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was very similar to that timeline, like the 1800s. something like-
Earlier than that, it was like
16?
500-600 years ago.
Right, there was a few of those, yeah, but it was kind of like a mixture, you know,
Yeah.
because there were some like around that time, but then there were some that were a little later, but still way back when. Anyway, so cool. So funny thing was we were walking from, one of the places, kind of just
Oh,
walking
yes.
around. Anyway, well, Mom slipped
Yes.
Yes.
and she
Fell.
scraped her leg
Bad.
From
really
the
bad.
knee to
In
the
fact,
ankle.
I mean,
in
it
fact,
was-
you can still see a few of the scars from it.
Yeah,
Really?
the
I mean,
deeper.
it's-
She has
I'm
two.
not studying
She
her.
has
Two of the
two
really
deep
deeper,
ones.
like one at her knee and one at her ankle, were really deep,
Yeah.
and there she still has.
She still
scars.
has
The
those.
rest of it's
Wow.
fine.
Anyway,
But yeah.
so
Bad.
funny.
Yo, this
so
is funny.
So
This
it
is
was
funny.
so it was really bad, and we're all like, oh, well, the people that were running the
There was a restaurant
There's a
there,
restaurant
yeah.
there, yeah.
They came over and were like, offering her like bandages or whatever kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, one of them brought 2 shot glasses.
Of
Of
rakia.
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 And was it a guy or a lady?
It was a guy.
It was a guy. The guy was like one for the leg and one for
To
the
tip back.
to tip back in here.
She
And Mom
was
was like,
I'll do both
just
on the
both for the
leg."
leg. Thank you. Yes, appreciate
It
that.
was funny.
It was
so
funny.
Mom was actually late. That was that the day after or the day before we played at the camp?
I think that was
I
the
think
day
it was
before.
the day before.
Day
Yeah.
before. So the next, because we played at the camp at night. So
Yes.
that day we may have done some stuff, but Mom rested that
Yeah.
so her
Right.
leg could scab over and wasn't anyway.
Right.
I know that may be a little TMI. Anyway, the camp was really cool though because there was a lot of people there.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And again, it was a last minute thing, but it was a lot of fun, and we like mingled and talked for a long time
With
after.
the kids.
It was
Yeah.
so
stuff
fun.
like that.
We
It was
stayed up
good.
really late that night.
We
But
did.
anyway, that was cool.
After we played at this camp or whatever, the
Yes.
next day we left for Montenegro.
Yes.
And this-
Montenegro.
We played in Podgorica, which is the capital city.
Yes.
Now, crazy thing about
Explain.
this. So Podgorica sits in a bowl,
Yes.
does.
Surrounded by the black
surrounded by
mountains.
mountains. I cannot explain to you the temperature difference we
is
did.
hot.
It was bad.
You think
It
Dallas
was
and Oklahoma
61
City get
It was
hot?
61 degrees when we left Zlatibor.
Yes.
About
Yeah.
8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we got to Podgorica and opened the door, we shut it immediately. It was 105 degrees.
Yes.
Yes.
Like you literally
But-
could feel it
Oh,
as
yeah.
you went from, the 60s, 70s in the mountains, went right down the street in Podgorica, and you just felt the car just go.
But
just
that
like
was the
heated up.
most beautiful trip I have ever taken.
It was
Oh,
so
yes.
beautiful.
The mountains in
The mountains there.
Montenegro
Yes.
are
They're
and
more-
these are mountains.
They're more
Yes.
comparable to the Rockies.
This is like
These
Rockies.
are
It was
mountains.
beautiful.
Mountains, like driving,
so-
Yep.
in Colorado.
Yes.
Like up
And
near
we
Estes
played
Park.
outside
Beautiful.
in a gazebo.
And yeah,
It
That
was
was another
really
one of
hot.
those concerts where
No,
Joshua's
Jordan.
shirt, shoulders
Yeah, it's
to
at
wrist.
7 p.m. It was 102, and you're just like,
It was
funny
so
memory
hot.
at that concert. There was two Americans that were here in Montenegro on a mission trip.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Oh,
we
I
started playing The Devil
Went
Went
Down
Down
to
to
Georgia.
Georgia.
I remember this.
And this girl was vibing to it. She was like, "Oh, I love this song." And at the end, Jacob says,
I say
"You
bluegrass
bluegrass,
Bluegrass
picker."
picker
Well,
instead
she
of
went the whole length of the expression.
She said he didn't say.
oh yeah, I remember that.
And
I
we're
remember
looking
that.
at her
And
like,
we were like,
okay. She was like 20 something.
Glad I know that now.
So funny.
Thank you.
Anyway, that concert was so fun,
It
was.
but it was so
It was so
hot.
hot,
It
yes.
was so hot.
So
anyway, Montenegro.
We made it back to that was another late night because
Yeah,
we
we
had
drove
to cross the
back.
border
Yeah.
of
Again.
Montenegro, which wasn't
That
it was
wasn't
not
near
near,
as
as
No, no,
the
no.
Hungarian border and all
Well,
that kind of stuff.
the border crossing there wasn't as popular.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Serbia didn't touch Greece, does it?
No.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
So it's Macedonia.
They usually
Yes.
go
The
through
border
Macedonia.
the border crossing between Serbia and Macedonia in the south is
Is
the
as
popular
bad
one.
as
bad
Hungary.
as the northern
Yeah.
one. in
Anyway,
Hungary.
so we
Anyway.
get back from Montenegro.
Yes.
Trying to move the plot along.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we do
Anyway.
want to give y'all this full year and then
This
we
full
make
year,
stop and,
then
do
we're gonna go
2017.
part.
Then we'll do
Four.
17.
Yeah.
And then
And then
18.
stop.
Yeah.
18, and then the now. So
We'll
we'll
have
get
fun.
through it. Hold on, we might do this all summer. So perfect.
Though, right?
Yes,
right?
it's perfect. Perfect timing. We might take a break and do a Father's Day tribute, but we'll see.
Yes.
All right.
Anyway, after Montenegro, what did we
Right.
do?
We went from
'Cause I don't know.
Montenegro to back to-
Zlatibor again, right?
I think we might have stayed in Zlatibor again
One more night.
one more night,
One more
and then
night.
went from Zlatibor to.
Moravica?
Didn't we do
No, no, no,
Negotine
no, no.
first?
No, we went.
No,
Negotine
Negotine
was
was
2017.
Negotine.
No, we
Oops.
went straight to Erdevik.
Right. So that's
Erdevik.
the other side of the country.
Yes.
That was like a 6-7 hour drive.
Wow.
That was also the time. If I
I thought we stayed. in
correct me if
Montenegro.
I'm wrong, but was
No, we
that the
didn't.
year
Sorry.
that Mom was offered the gill,
The what?
or was that 2017?
The gill?
The gill to the
Oh,
fish.
the fish gill. Ah,
don't
shoot.
know what
Yeah,
that
that
is.
was that trip. That was that trip.
But we were
'Cause
in Belgrade.
No.
But we had to go.
It was
You had-
outside of Chachak.
It was outside of Chachak.
Okay,
See,
okay.
we were in Zlatibor. Zlatibor is in the southwestern
Yes.
side. It's very close to Kosovo.
Yes, I know.
So you go from we had to go from Zlatibor up to the Chachak area.
Right.
Mhm.
And so we stopped at this restaurant that was literally on the river.
Right.
The Danube.
And
The Danube.
it was they served fish that they pulled out of the river fresh every day.
Right.
Yeah.
And this
Fresh
one of
fish.
the waiters and the other thing about them serving fish is if you do order fish
It comes
in
with all
Serbia
the
anyway,
bones.
it's the entire fish.
Yes.
Right.
They grill it, they pull it out of the river and they grill it as
So
is.
you
And there
learn
you
how
go.
to eat fish.
Yes.
Yes.
With
I think they skin it, but I think that's it. They don't
Actually,
they don't skin it?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't remember.
I didn't see any eyeballs.
I don't know
but
about that.
No,
But
they didn't have
anyway.
eyeballs.
Yes.
There's some of them that did.
Abby's
That I saw.
didn't, and she was very thankful.
Anyway, anyway, you got the whole fish, which
Yes.
means
I
you
don't
got the
remember
head
seeing
too.
an eyeball.
So anyway, he
Wow.
pulled so Mama had set aside the head.
Yeah.
because,
Obviously.
Anyway, but when he came
Obviously.
over to refill our drinks or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's talking through Darko because he didn't know any English.
Yes.
And he says, "What are you doing? The best part of the fish is on the head." And he slipped behind the gill, like
Yeah.
right there
Yeah.
in the gill
Yeah.
area. And he said, "Here, try this. You got to
And
try
she
this."
was like,
And she gave him
very hesitantly.
the look, the like,
Are
okay,
you
we're gonna
sure
try
about
this. Are you
this?
sure
Huh.
about this? Anyway, and she tried it, and she was like, "Wow, you're
Heavens
right."
to Betsy. I felt like
Then we were all peeling apart the head, trying to get.
And
I
then
never tasted gill
Oh,
meat.
no. Are you kidding me?
I tried it. It was.
Okay,
it
I
was
remember
very
remember
good.
trying
politely
it. I just
said,
don't
"No,
remember.
thank
I
I'm
you."
the one who had fish brains in Israel.
I
so
don't
yes,
remember
I was
being
looking
near the
for-
conversation near enough to be like, oh, I want
Yes.
to try that. I don't remember.
We were
Anyway.
Anyway, so
Okay,
cool. So that
concert
was
tour.
on the way. That was lunch, and then we got to Erdevik.
Erdvik.
And
Well,
we
Yes,
played
and
there.
then we did Novi Sad, right?
Erdevik. We
Novi
did not.
Sad?
Did we do Novi Sad that year? I don't remember doing Novi Sad that year.
I
I think we went from
trying to
Erdevik to
remember.
Bachki Petrovac.
Yes.
We did
Oh,
Bachki
that's right. We
Petrovac.
did Bachki Petrovac again.
And then, what else did we do that year?
We played concerts. Let's
We
just
played
say
a
that.
bunch.
I
We
don't
played a-
remember.
I don't remember
But
crazy.
then
Bachki Petrovac was last because
Yes.
we went from
Yes.
there
To
to Mike
Moravica.
came and picked us up and took us to
took it
Moravica.
to Moravica, and we had
Fun.
2 Moravica camps.
Yes.
Yes.
And
We
we're going
split
to
'em up.
try and
We'll
spin
try to
through
breeze through
these
them because
because
these were tough.
These were because again we're used to CEF, and again
Organization.
all organizations have their faults. We are going to say that, and we will
Yes.
get into that more. Again, we're going to try and have discretion and not bash anyone. We're just sharing our
Yeah, no names.
experiences. And at this time, though, we were having a great relationship with the CEF team. We weren't really having too many issues.
No,
There were
I
some
mean,
people, that we were having trouble
little
working
things
with,
here and there, but not really.
but
anything
nothing
huge.
that bad. And they always, most of the time, planned very, very well because it's an
Yes.
organization. They have to have
Exactly.
schedules and, so for the most part, they were pretty well planned out.
Well, and by
printing books
2016,
and
Mom
everything.
especially was quite involved in the
In the
organization
planning
of the
part,
camp.
yes,
In the
and she's a very
planning,
detailed
yes.
person. Anyway, in Moravica, it's a church,
Yes.
and so there was not any planning actually for those camps. It was all on
They
us.
left all the planning up to us. It
Yes.
was one of those.
Exactly.
They,
And we
the way
weren't
they
ready
did
for
it,
and we were not aware of that.
right. See, the way CEF
Yeah.
ran their camps is you had
Not
they had
fully.
volunteers come in because there wasn't just us. There were other American groups that
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah.
But they ran the camp, and the volunteers did
Yeah.
whatever they
They
did.
were-
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But the church in Moravica, they just provided the kitchen staff
Mhm.
and
Yes.
the
Facility.
facilities.
Right.
That's
well,
it.
and the teachers.
And okay,
but
and the, Bible teaching.
teachers, they weren't really leaders. And a lot of the teachers, of course, the pastor was kind of leading, but he had a lot of other things that he was doing as well.
Right.
Plus, they didn't have a lot of
male teachers for the guys.
Right.
Most of the
Which
teachers
was a major problem
were
that year.
women. And that was just hard. We knew the value of having men for the boys and women for the girls.
Exactly.
And at that point,
Because
Joshua and I
the
weren't old
boys,
enough to do that.
well,
Yeah.
Y'all
they're boys.
stepped up,
and
but
We tried.
again,
especially
it wasn't the same.
well, especially with teens,
With
not
teen
having
guys,
a
yeah.
man there
That
to be
authority.
like to have that authority. Because
Right.
Straighten them up.
with
Dad did the-
teens, they're less
Yeah.
likely to listen to girls that are in their 20s and women that are in their 20s because that's what most of the,
The
teachers
volunteers were,
were
yeah.
in
Dad
their
tried. There were a couple of
20s to
times when
30s.
Dad tried.
yeah.
But
Daddy doesn't
Dad
know the
doesn't know the
language.
language, and
Exactly.
he's when he does have a barrier like that, Dad's not one to
Right.
try
So
to
it was
overstep
good
So anyway.
camps. Again, it's
Yeah.
very, very blurry
Sweet
memory. We had
campers.
amazing campers,
Amazing
a lot of
campers.
returning campers.
Yes.
Again, it was a fun camp, but it was also very stressful because
It
there was
was.
so much other
Well-
stuff that were out of our control or that felt
Yeah.
out of control. But it was good.
A good example of that is Abby and Jean-Marc, yes, had 27
Yes.
kids.
This was at the kids camp. We had 27, probably 9 to 11-year-olds, maybe some 7 to 8.
Yeah.
But they were all in that. They weren't beginner, but they weren't they were halfway between beginner and intermediate. Anyway, and to navigate through that, and we had one translator, and again, she wasn't one to take authority a lot. She was more than her sister to take on
Yes.
authority.
Are we
But
talking about Shada?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shada.
I mean, she was a great translator, but still, sometimes with the chaos, you're like,
Yeah. Some
Anyway,
people
actually, I
had
think
that
there was
outgoing gift.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to. I don't remember fully everything. I just remember there were some tough moments,
Yeah.
Yes.
and you were just like, you were exasperated. She was exasperated, and you're just like,
Yeah.
let's, you know,
One really bright moment. I think this was between camps. The Newells. I can't remember. I believe it's his father. Zoltan's father is a beekeeper.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
yes.
we
I
got to
remember
go.
that.
It was me, Joshua, and Naomi.
We
It
had to
wasn't
wake
all-
up really early.
It wasn't all of us, but Shada invited us to go over to
I
their
didn't do it.
grandfather's
I was
place
tired.
I think
and
it was
watch
just Jacob,
him
Joshua, and I.
harvest honey.
Yeah,
Yes.
And
you
I
give
gotta
them
tell you,
We
that
had
was
raw
awesome.
honeycomb. It
And
was
her-
so
it was
good.
so
their
good.
grandfather knew Serbian, and so we were able to, because some of the Hungarians did not know Serbian. So
Exactly.
that was a real major
Yeah.
language barrier there.
Yes.
But he knew Serbian because he was a factory worker back in
Yeah.
the day. So he had to learn Serbian to
Right.
converse. Anyway, so, getting to talk to him and hear his experiences and then get to taste the honey literally
Right out
off
of
the
the-
comb.
yes.
It was so good.
It was really
That's
cool.
really cool.
I got stoned.
I
too.
remember that. I felt bad that I didn't go, but I was really tired and I was like, I need sleep. And I do want to come back and say though, at this camp that we're talking about how hard it was, and it was hard, but still,
It was still
building the
good.
relationship
Yes.
with those kids.
Yes.
You especially kind of the one, they came from poor families.
Yes.
They weren't popular, and
Yeah.
to see them and be able to minister, and that was always our heart whenever we saw a kid that wasn't popular with the other kids, just to come alongside them, to get to know them, to love on them, was really a special opportunity. And I remember 2 sisters, and sometimes you have that pull, as probably many of you who've worked with children do, that sometimes they are the brightest joys in your life, and then sometimes you're just like ready to call it a day. Anyway, but those 2 girls, they were sisters, came from a large family, poor, not very popular with the kids, but to be able to love on them and see their smiles, even Nora and Shara, 2 the daughters of Zoltan.
That's
Dora.
Nora. Nora is
another one of our campers.
Dora and Shara took them because being poor, they were dirty. They hadn't washed their hair. They didn't really understand hygiene, a lot of hygiene stuff. And they took them and helped them wash up for the last night.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
evening concert.
And so fix their hair, and just I just remember that moment, and like that service, that's serving. And so anyway,
That is really cool.
yeah, one
Naomi,
of my
you've
favorite
got
memories from
one
that camp.
thing.
Okay. I had this for
Do you
a reason.
remember
Oh
that?
yes, I do. Sorry. So that year we also split up. By the way, we are going to have to split up this year in 2.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna split
so,
this one
yay,
up.
Yeah.
y'all will come back and hear more.
Are we
Hey,
gonna
y'all,
stop with
y'all
more
are
pizza?
getting the whole
We're
enchilada.
gonna
gonna
stop
stop.
after
I mean,
Romania and split
seriously.
this
We're gonna
into 2.
stop after 2016, and we'll split
So
2016
we'll
up.
record these later.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
This is
This is
This
might-
is
this
real.
is a little
This might
family
be
meeting. This
real
might be our
stuff.
summer podcast series. Anyway,
I know, right?
Are we gonna stop before Romania or after?
After.
we're going
After.
to.
They are now whispering.
Okay, so this year in 2016 we did 2 camps. 2017 we only did 1, but in 2016
that's the
we
year we
did
only
kids and teens.
Right.
And in the teens, again, a lot of music, and the word was spreading. So at teen camp, we actually had a girl from Hungary. Like, she didn't live in Serbia. She was a friend of someone.
Barbie?
Barbie. She lived around Budapest area-ish.
Yes.
And she came
sweet
to
Yes.
be a part of the camp. She was friends with Nora, I
I
believe.
think they were cousins.
They were
Cousins?
They were cousins.
That would make sense. Anyway, so she came in for the camp and stuff. She was an unbeliever, and her mom actually. There was a story with her mom. I don't remember if her mom
something
didn't want her
about,
to
like-
go.
Yeah,
Or
there was something about there being some,
Oh, because her mom was
like her mom's
an
like a militant
atheist.
atheist.
yes, so
And-
she was very, very hesitant
Oh my
about
word, I
Barbie
remember that.
I
going.
remember that.
But Nora, they were able to work it out with family and stuff. So Barbie was there, very hesitant. She actually, for the first couple of days, she wouldn't sit in on devotions because of her mom.
Right.
But I don't remember which night, but we watched God's Not Dead with all the teens.
Right.
And
With
af-
Hungarian subtitles.
Yes.
Yes,
And
I remember
after that movie, she came and talked to mom, and then mom led her to Christ.
Yes.
So that was really,
remember
really
that.
cool. And definitely, I mean, we talk about having so much fun with the kids and serving, but at the same time, ministry is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is not easy. If you want to get into ministry, get some thick skin and
Tender hearts.
prayed up and everything.
I read that
So-
recently, and I was like, "This is
Thick
this
skin
is
and tender hearts.
thick skin
Exactly.
and tender hearts. That's what we need."
And so amidst the
Quick
stress
wits among that too.
and
Quick
confusion,
wits. Like think fast.
yeah, stress and confusion of the Moravica camps in 2016 were really, really
Sorry,
hard
had to vibe.
because our heart is always ministry,
That's right.
but you also have to know how to work with other people and stuff. So just that moment was a really booster for mom to get through the rest of camp because it was a reminder of why we're there in the first place.
Hey.
Exactly. And one quick thing, one more thing about on Barbie. When she went back home, her mother had an argument with her about her faith,
Yes.
and she stood
Remember that.
up to her mom.
Because of what she learned from God's Not Dead. Because if you
Yes.
haven't seen God's Not Dead, it's a really good
Amazing
movie.
video.
But it's about a college student standing up to his professor who's an atheist, and they go
So that
through
gave her the
arguments and
courage
stuff
to
like that.
stand up and say, "No, mom, this is what I believe," and because she's very not a confrontational
No,
person.
she
Exactly.
was.
So for her to stand up to her mom and say, "No, this is how I'm gonna live now," and that anyway,
It was
really
really.
cool.
We
It
was
still
really
keep up with her,
awesome.
or at least I do a little
I
bit
keep
on
up with her a little
Instagram.
on Instagram.
Right.
So it's just that was just really, really cool. And anything else on the Moravica
No,
camps?
I
Teen
think that's
So
camp.
it.
that was pretty.
One
much it.
also always a highlight for us with teen camp was Hannah Gasparich.
Oh
Yes.
yes.
She was
Yes.
she
We
is
made the
about-
monkey bread that year.
Oh
yes,
yes.
yes.
I
That
remember
was
that.
amazing. Go ahead.
Anyway, the first year we did the monkey bread, again, this was with Hannah.
That was
but
this year.
Yes. Hannah was Naomi and our age, Naomi and my age. I always get confused how to say that.
Yeah,
Which
she turned
pronoun?
21,
Anyway.
like 3 or 4 days ago.
She's a few months younger than
Yeah,
us.
a few months younger than us, knows English super well.
Crazy.
Super well.
Just a
And
vibrant character.
She's a
amazing.
musician.
Yes.
So fun to be around. So fun to work alongside. She was one of our translators there.
Yes.
She came as a camper, but we needed translators. And so
Yes.
she
and
was
she
willing
knows
to do that.
everything. She's
Yeah.
English,
She was
Serbian,
a lot
and
in our
Hungarian.
advanced group.
Yep. Well, she
So she would be
was
our
in,
translator.
She came in.
She was in
second
the
day
original.
in Josh was in my group.
No,
the
no,
first
no,
year.
no. She was there the first day.
Was she there the first
Yeah.
day? Okay, she showed up late.
Anyway,
Something like
but
that.
the
And then when I
second
heard her
year-
play, I was
yeah.
like, because I could tell that she had had some kind of training
yeah,
because classical
right?
guitar training.
Oh yeah.
Because I gave her, we had everyone play, and then when she played, it was like, whoa,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she has
this
a
girl's
beautiful
got
voice too.
talent.
Yes.
Anyway,
Go.
So again, that is one of our highlights of Moravica was being with Hannah and serving alongside her. And we still keep up with her.
Oh, yeah.
Not as much as I want
Yes.
to, but we still do keep up with her. And that rolls into she helped Naomi and I make monkey bread that
Yes.
year.
We had the idea. It was it the last day?
No, it was
The
close to the last day, but
second
it
to
wasn't
last,
the
because
last
we
day.
also would always take the whole camp out for ice cream, because again, we're in town and there was
Well,
a
anyone
shop
who wanted to.
There was a
Anyone who
little
wanted.
ice cream
There was a
shop
little
right on
shop,
the corner. You go down
and
the
we
street
got
a
to
little
know
bit.
him very well.
That was the second best
He
part.
actually,
Plus their
know-
burgers, the burger
burger place.
Oh,
There were two
yes.
places that we would always go to in Moravica.
Yes.
This lady that made the best burgers,
The best
and then
Pizza.
the little ice cream shop guy.
They actually came to recognize us when we would
Yes.
come back.
Yes.
Because we would go like every day. Shh. But anyway,
Not cute.
we
Not
wanted
every day.
on
Was
one
it every day?
I think it was this year. We went out to ice cream every evening.
Pretty much
Well, because
almost.
we were trying one
Because we
thing.
were
We were
stressed.
trying. No, we were again
Stress eating.
with Merch
Because of you.
IFC. With Merch IFC, they had a lot of activities for the
Yes.
kids outside just the music. So it wasn't just music. It was, oh, let's play kickball. Let's do this group
Well, and
fun
Merchetsy
game.
was out in the country. They
Yeah.
wasn't in a
There was
village.
a lot.
Exactly.
Well, but there was a lot more activities to do
Right.
outside of music. See, with the Moravica, because a lot of the planning was put on us. It was like we would get done with music and we were like, okay, what are we gonna do?
Well, there
Let's
was
try
also
this.
over half were day campers, so they weren't there in the evening.
Yeah. So we were trying to introduce them, ask them to try things that we had seen Merch AFC do, especially this year in 2017 when we did the one camp. Just trying to get the
That's
campers
when
more
we really pulled in the minute to win it stuff.
more involved with each other, get to know them a little better. And so we thought, hey, monkey bread, this is something we did. We have the kitchen available to help do it. And so we wanted to do something fun. I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday, just another fun activity to do.
Yes,
introduce them
something
to.
special,
Yeah.
because it had not bashing anyone, but when leadership suffers, the kids suffer.
Yeah.
Right.
So they were getting stressed out too, because they could feel the tension from not
Yes.
no planning.
Yeah.
Um, so we wanted
Little
to do
planning
something
was-
special. So we bought, everything that we needed, and then it was just
Well, we
Abby-
had them by. We were
well,
like, okay, we'll need.
we need
because,
this,
well,
this.
we used Pillsbury because
Yes.
this was a Christmas Eve breakfast that we've had for years.
Yes.
and yes, we've made it keto.
Uh-huh.
But it's a tradition, family tradition.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
big on traditions. Anyway,
like Fiddler on the Roof.
anyway,
Waste
um,
of time.
so the
I
fun
love that
thing-
movie.
The fun
Sorry,
thing
that was random.
about doing it is we had to okay, how much dough do we use? Because we always use 4 cans of Pillsbury dough, which
Yes.
is awesome for you, right? Anyway, but it
Not.
made it easy.
Right.
But we had to
We experimented
think
a bit.
about.
So it was just Abby, me, Hannah, and Mom in the kitchen. And it
Yes.
was really cool because
so much
Hannah,
fun.
her family, it's her dad, her mom, her, and then her brother. So she doesn't have sisters,
Yeah.
so it was just really cool to just get to know her.
See,
Yeah,
we're
that
now
was-
I think
wasting
that was
think that was
2017.
Was that year?
Which one?
Sorry, I'm
she
talking
told
to
us
Abby.
about
Year.
him.
Yes, and then she did the Love Dare later.
2017. That's 2017.
2017.
Okay, was it?
Okay,
I don't
come back
remember.
and listen to
I think
2017 to hear
let's
more
save it
about
for- Even
Hannah.
if it was this year,
Let's just
save
say
Yeah,
it for
let's say
2017.
To hear more about Hannah and her brother,
So,
tune
Yes,
in next time.
Tune in next time.
yes.
Okay,
So,
are we done with
I
Moravica
think
now?
so.
I think we're done with Moravica. Now Romania.
Now we go to
Aha!
Romania for
And
the first
this
time.
was
Mike drove us
truly
to
yes.
I don't
got to see
remember.
Mike
no,
again.
Mike drove us to Hungary,
Right.
Yes.
and Teo,
Picked
who
us
we
up
talked
in
about, Pastor Teo,
Budapest.
he and his son Emmy,
Yes.
and another driver
Right.
that I don't remember
We
his
can't
name.
remember
I can't
his
remember
name,
his name.
sorry.
But they came in 2 vehicles
Oh yeah, it was
and
another, I
they
remember.
met us in Hungary, and
Yes.
we drove to Romania.
Yes.
Now, Jabot is
I remember we
It
ate at a
was-
McDonald's on the way. It was
And,
awful.
awful.
It was awful.
Timmy Schwader.
that was
Yes.
no. That was 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We did eat in a McDonald's, but it wasn't in Timisoara.
Okay.
The
Timisoara
Timisoara one
was
was really
27.
nice.
Was it in Oradia? Maybe.
It might have been Oraria.
I don't know. Anyway,
Anywho.
but
Jabot is a
Jabot,
beautiful
it
place.
is beautiful.
Yes.
But ladies and gentlemen, it is right smack dab in the middle of the Transylvania area.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And seriously, y'all, there's no such thing as all the stuff that, but you want to talk about just a gorgeous
It was so beautiful.
area.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it would kind of remind you sort of the Smoky Mountains ish.
Yeah.
Because it was not mountains. It was
No, no,
like
no.
No, we
more
saw those later.
hills-ish. Right. And
Tune in to
it was-
2017.
Right.
Right.
But we were so welcome there. I mean, it was definitely a new adventure for us because
was.
we had,
It was.
you know,
New
gotten so
country.
used to Serbia.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so new language, new
culture, new
Right,
country.
and
here's the
totally
thing
different
about
language.
totally different language, but also a different culture. See, Serbia being part of Yugoslavia, because of Marshal Tito and all
Yes.
that, you know, he had a different form of communism. Romania was behind the Iron Curtain
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
it was.
with Ceausescu
yes.
as
Right.
their dictator.
Right.
So the people there experienced a much harder and stricter form of communism
right.
Yeah.
that they're still dealing with
Well,
Yes.
and
today.
they still have very recent memories of it that their
Yeah.
parents suffered
well,
through that.
Pastor
Their
Teo
grandparents
himself
suffered
told
through
us that he was imprisoned right before the revolution as a teenager. He was
Yeah.
caught with a Bible,
Wow.
and he was in prison, and then the revolution happened in '89.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
he was freed after
So
that.
Yeah.
that just we heard so many stories.
getting
I
chills
remember
just
one
thinking about
more was Kami, Pastor Teo's wife.
Yes,
Her father.
her father.
They would have rations, of course, given whatever.
Yeah, the Soviets.
Anyway,
For their pay.
and
For their-
their pay was food. Her father,
Mm-hmm.
once was given chicken feet to feed his family.
For a week.
That's what he had to feed his family for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I can't feed my family this.
He almost got killed
Yep.
for his.
Yep, for saying
for
I
his
can't
protest.
feed my family
Right.
this. And so just the oppression.
Yeah.
And still now the
It's the
Orthodox?
Orthodox.
Yes.
Because they had in Romania, they had a very extensive informer system
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
that the communists use. Unfortunately, excuse me, now the Orthodox Church in Romania uses it.
Yes.
The same people, because see, in Romania especially, Serbia, yes, but in Romania it's like much more so.
It's
If
Yeah.
you leave the
distinctive.
Orthodox Church, it's a very, very big deal.
Like the
Yeah.
priest will come to your house and
And
tell you you're going to hell and
excommunicated
stuff
and
like
going-
that.
yeah, all that
fun,
stuff.
all that fun stuff.
So
yeah.
they have people that come sit in the evangelical
They'll
church
sit in the back of
foyers.
the church.
In the foyers. They won't come in the church. They sit in the foyers. So right outside the doors leading into the
Yeah.
sanctuary. And they watch the crowd for any, and men especially, look for any Romanian men that come in
Because the
that
men lead the
were
family.
members of the
Yes.
that were members of the Orthodox Church, and they would
Who are
report them.
visiting
Yes.
the Baptist
Right.
church.
They
Exactly.
would report them
Yes.
to the Orthodox
So
Church.
we got lots of
very
history
different,
lessons and
yes.
culture lessons around because we would eat. We stayed in like an apartment like a multi-apartment building type thing.
Yeah.
Right.
That
And-
was above their house.
Yes, because they
Above the
were on the bottom
Miholsman.
floor. Then it was her sister, and then us at the top. Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. Anyways, but we would always eat dinner, at least
them.
dinner with
Yes.
them. Breakfast, because it was so early and we had to get to camp and stuff, we would eat by ourselves, like a really light breakfast, and then have snack and lunch later.
Right.
But we would eat a nice big dinner in their house, and Kami was a wonderful cook and host, but we would have those conversations
an
around the
amazing
table.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We had wonderful times there. So the
First
first camp we did
Yes.
was in Serduk.
Yes.
And we mainly worked with Pastor Benny. I mean, Pastor
Yes.
Teo was there, but and Pastor Teo, just to give y'all sort
An
of
idea.
how the Baptist church worked in that region. Pastor Teo was the main pastor at the Jabot Baptist Church,
Yes.
Right.
So
but he
Baptist church.
also headed up all the surrounding villages that had separate pastors and everything.
Right,
And
right.
some of them, like Pastor Benny, there was also Pastor Marius that we
Yeah.
also got to know.
They would.
Yes.
They headed
they
more
did
than one
different-
church.
right.
They pastored more than one
Yes.
church.
Exactly. So
Yes.
this was one
In
of the
little
churches
villages.
that Pastor Benny and pastored and everything. And this was also a gypsy
Yes.
church.
So
Yes.
what the
Family.
Romas are in Serbia, that's what the gypsies are in
are
Romania.
in
So
Romania.
very
It's the same
lower
people.
class.
Yes.
I know it's the same, but
official
they
name
called
of
them
the
gypsies.
official name of the ethnicity, the ethnic group, is Romani.
Okay.
That's the official name.
Yeah.
But Roma, Gypsy, it's
The
all
same-
the same
yeah.
people.
Well, they call them
But-
gypsies in Romania to differentiate.
From Romanian,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But that in Romania, we experienced a lot more of the racism and hatred
Yes.
toward the gypsies because in Serbia, we were in Mrčajevci most of the time
Yes.
or performing at churches where they already know God made us all in one image and there's not as much superstition or
Right.
prejudice there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we experienced some of it, but not as upfront in your face as
Right.
in
Well, and it's
Romania.
not. It wasn't as. If it was there, it was very subtle. It
Yes,
wasn't.
we heard
hateful
more
and
stories than actually experienced.
Right, but in Romania,
Experienced it. Yeah, we experienced
totally different
it.
story.
Exactly.
Anyway, so it was at a gypsy church.
Right.
Yes.
And,
And
most
we
most
had
of the
how
kids, we had
We had a
20
lot.
of-
or 30.
we had like
We had a bunch.
I had like
35-ish.
9
I mean,
or
we
10 in my
packed that.
group.
You want to
We
talk
packed
about
that little
It was
church.
a
Band
one room.
room.
The
One
one room
room.
building. There was a
Oh, this was
unfinished.
fun.
Yes.
There was an unfinished
Back room.
back room
room.
thing where we did the picks, where they would play for picks and stuff.
The floor was
but
dirt.
the church was one room.
Yes.
You
Yes.
come in the door and you're in the sanctuary, and they did not have bathrooms either.
They
Right.
had
They
an
had an
outhouse.
outhouse.
So we learned to bring wipes.
Yes, that was fun.
Because
Anyway, also in that it was one room. See, we were used to Mrčajevci in Moravica where we had multiple rooms, so our
we were
groups
spread out.
would not be near each other. That was the fun thing because
Everyone was
you
in a
had
corner.
to make sure try to get your kids to listen to you and not your brother's group.
right.
We had
Exactly.
four
Especially
groups.
Joshua, because he would make his group yell.
Yes.
Sorry.
that.
Mama was.
Uh-huh.
It was a day camp. This was our our
Yes.
first experience with the full day camp.
Yes.
Yes, complete.
Complete
completely
day
so.
camp. And so all our camps in Romania were day camps.
Yes.
Yes.
It wasn't a
Never-
campground.
No overnight camp.
Anyway, so because they were held at churches. So Mama was the one they would play for picks.
Right.
Yes.
So she wasn't an official teacher. Joshua had his own group. Naomi had his own group. I had
Her
my own
own
group.
group.
Her own group.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I knew
And
what you meant.
Jacob
I had
had
one,
his
yes.
own group.
Yes.
And so we also each had translators.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
I
was the one
had
thing that the
Daniela.
Romanians did very well, is they provided everything
Very
we
good
need very well.
translators.
Very good translators too.
Because you also when in Serbia, and it wasn't bad. It usually worked out really well. But you would be with whoever volunteered for the camp,
yes.
and whoever knew the best English
Right.
would translate
yeah,
for you.
exactly.
Whereas
So these
in-
were
they were recruited.
people
Like Pastor
who
Teo was like, I
knew the
Yeah.
English language, knew the Romanian language, and could translate very well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I had Bogdan.
I had
Zendaya.
Raul.
You had Raul.
Raul
I had-
was mine.
I had Pastor Benny.
Oh,
You
that's
had
Oh, yeah.
right.
That was
probably
That
why
was
they
why
were
you were
yelling.
yelling.
That was one of the reasons why I was
Josh's
yelling.
was the loud girl.
Oh,
He
I-
was.
Benny were
Him
loud.
and Benny
was
together.
loud.
He was-
So Benny
But
was
Joshua
a
was
very
also very
animated
energetic. You're
Yes.
a very
He's an energetic teacher.
teacher.
Right.
Shut up. And
Sorry,
Came
someone
out
keeps
in the mic.
calling me.
she has a
Sorry.
Anyway, and
I think the one
Benny
is called.
was a
sorry,
very
that was
energetic
total movie goer.
and
Yes.
just
very animated, very
Yes.
sanguine.
very sanguine
Yes.
pastor.
Are we talking about?
We watched
Pastor
him.
Benny? Oh,
we
Lord.
watched him preach. haha.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I had Daniela, Pastor Teo's daughter.
Right, I
Right.
remember that.
Yes, we had a
So-
fun group.
Yeah.
Let's just say the girls were well behaved and the boys were not. No offense.
right. Right.
But it was
Oh,
fun.
right,
We had a great
and
time.
We split it
I
up.
think we split it up in age.
girls. No, we split it up in girls in age, and then the guys in age.
I had a
Yes.
mixture. I had both guys and girls.
Jacob
Did I
had
have
the
all the
oldest
girls?
group. Jacob had the oldest group.
Never mind.
We went by
I
age.
had.
Did we
Jacob
go by
had
age?
the
yeah, I had
oldest
I had
group.
the young adult.
Shall I talk, please?
teen
Go ahead.
young
Jacob
adults.
had the oldest group. I had about the preteens. You had
I
the
think I
one
had 8 to
slightly.
12.
No, I did. You had you. Well, we might have split that up, but Abby had the
Okay,
younger
we didn't
ones.
split up into girls and boys until Chabot.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember
Right,
that now. Okay,
right.
so no, it was not split. It was split up into ages.
Yes. Jacob just happened to have all girls because that was just the age group that he had.
Right.
Yes. And I also had 2
I
moms
think I had
as
the
well.
youngest.
That
I don't know if you remember
is.
that.
Oh, I
Yes,
do
I
remember
remember
that.
that. It was a good
That
camp.
was a cool thing
It was
about
cool.
it being a day camp is there were some of the parents who would come and
Yes.
learn along with,
With
their
their
children.
kids.
One mom, I
So
think
it was
one
really
mom
cool.
had a babe in arms.
Yes.
I don't remember.
A what now?
Anyway,
a babe
Oh,
in
okay.
arms.
I was like,
a
what?
baby that had
She
the-
was in what? No.
so
I
No, she had a baby. Like,
In a
like-
Baptist
he
church.
did what in his
No, I'm
cup?
kidding, I'm
Oh my word.
anyway, I'm sorry.
Oh, boy.
Carlos,
Okay.
Sorry.
movie quote. Anyway,
To
I think it
our
was a good
friends in Romania,
We
love you.
apologize.
Yes,
we are
I
not
am
making fun
so
of you. We're
sorry.
just having remembering.
They're
fond
making fun of
memories.
me. That's what's happening.
That's
I
what
think
it
I
is.
remember one of the mothers having a baby.
Yes.
With
They-
her.
yes.
I
Yes.
don't remember.
It was fun.
But it was
times.
a good first camp.
And
Right.
we did I'm finishing up the camps because I know we
Sorry.
did concerts
Well,
at night.
I wasn't gonna get to Jabot just yet.
No, but
No,
I was
no.
just going to share at
Huh?
Sir Duke.
Sir Duke, yeah.
Sir
We
Duke.
did the
My dude.
evening.
Yes, we did the.
I live
finale.
with her. No, just kidding.
Oh, Tuesday. Yeah.
We did the big finale thing and like
Yes,
all the
but-
parents came
but
and the
Friday,
whole
yeah.
church.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
The church
That
was
was-
packed.
It was packed
Don't
in
talk
this
about
tiny.
There were like
Remember that.
80 people stuffed
It was
in
awesome
this
because
building.
we played some of
Yeah.
our own music.
Yeah.
Pastor Teo got to preach. He asked,
Teo didn't preach.
I
Benny
was
preached.
Benny, of course, it's his church. Benny preached and presented the gospel.
Yes.
We
Yes.
did special music, and then all the kids got to play their favorite song
Yeah.
or
It
whatever.
was
So
really
that was
fun.
really
It
cool.
was
And we
great.
took pictures with our groups, silly
Yes.
pictures and everything.
Which
It's a lot of
we,
fun.
We need to find those.
Oh,
and
I
post
have
them.
them.
That would be
They're
awesome.
on,
I'm
they're
because
on
we have a
Mom's
few crazy
profile
ones.
for sure.
Anyway,
There were other times during the camp. I can't remember all the different places because we did it in 2017 as well. But since it was a day camp, we had our afternoons and evenings free.
yeah.
So,
But we did do concerts.
So that's what I'm saying. But we did them during, like, in the evening.
In the
So
evening,
there were a
so we
couple
would-
There
of
was a
them.
couple. If I remember right, I think Monday evening we didn't do anything. Tuesday evening we played at Sir Duke.
Like
this was
concert.
us, and that was it was his church service.
Yeah,
that was
yeah, yeah.
his night.
It
there.
wasn't the
Yes.
finale for the kids.
Wednesday,
Right.
I believe we did the camp. Yes,
I
maybe?
think we might have played
and
at
then
their
Thursday we
campground, yeah.
played at Jabot because they always have a Thursday night service.
Right.
And then Friday was the finale.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
Saturday I don't think we did anything.
Yeah.
No.
So
and then
usually
Sunday. Do we want to talk about Romanian worship services?
they're
Maybe save
long.
that for
but
Let's save
they're
that for
really cool.
2017.
Because there is one testimony I want Naomi to give, and I want to make time for that.
Oh.
So we'll talk about Romanian church services 2017.
Because that's a
Right.
conversation
But
in
we
itself.
it was much more of a day camp atmosphere and then play concert night.
That
it was
night.
different, but it was good.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
fun.
good. It
And
was
so
really cool.
Come Jabot, second week, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We
had that was
we had a
to
ton of
date
people.
the largest
The
camp
largest.
that we've ever had. No,
Yeah.
we had
Yes.
almost
We had 80
above
something.
70.
Yeah.
wow.
Because
It was
you
just
had 26 girls, 8 to 12. I had
Yes.
25 boys,
8 to 12.
8 to 12.
How many
that was
did I
fun.
have?
I don't remember.
I think you were
I had
helping
a
Or
dozen.
were we-
I had a dozen
no.
young men.
Oh, right. I was
Teenager,
teaching
young men.
older girls.
Y'all
Y'all
were
were
the older
teaching.
girls.
I had the older
Ah.
girls.
You had 13 to
And so I think
Something.
I had under 15.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I had a dozen
y'all
or
had
more-
the biggest because y'all had the youngest.
We had
and-
the
But I
And
had
then
girls.
mom got
I had
mixed.
girls and guys in mine because of
Abby may
Ronella
have gotten
and
one
all
age
that.
group and you got another age
A
group.
couple of
Yeah.
the other guys.
Maybe I got
Like 13 to 16 or whatever.
We might have
Okay.
you might have had the like teens and I had like
Young adults.
young adults.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
adults because there
And
were a
adults.
Oh, so
few
we
adults.
must have split up y'all's to boys and
Because
girls.
there was
and
so
ours
many-
To just
Yeah, because I
ages.
remember
intermediate. I think I had
yeah.
intermediate and you had advanced,
Right.
and y'all split the.
'Cause
And then
one-
mom had the
one
ones
day-
under 8.
one day or one
Right.
week. I can't remember if this was 2016 or
I'm trying to
2017.
remember.
But Nelu, who's the older gentleman,
Right.
came
Yes.
to
It was
my
2016.
Yes.
Is that
'cause,
2016?
we have
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
He
have
came and
pictures of
joined
it.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
I
so
remember
cool.
that.
So
And then
So,
mom
if
got
I
the
remember-
ones
yes
under 8 and I think we had 5 to 8 and that was when we decided
to do the
that 8
next
was the
year,
youngest that you
right.
could do, because nothing against, but they're short attention spans. Their fingers are a lot very very
Yeah.
tender, and we did keep one
Rhythm
under
was kind
8.
of
What was his name? You had him the next year.
Phineas.
We did keep Phineas.
Because
because
of his mother.
Because he
Because
was
of-
adorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he had been
Christina.
with us the first year, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, he was there
so
both.
no
Christina was in my group.
new
And
His mother was in
Christina
my
Yes.
group.
was
yeah,
really
so no
sweet,
new
really
campers
sweet.
under the age of 8. Simply
That was
for
2017 though.
we're nothing against
Sanity
kids.
purposes.
Yes,
But this
just to
was,
keep it.
This was such a new atmosphere for
Oh,
us.
yes.
Day camp and being at a church, but they helped us. It was. I think it was well organized.
Yes.
Yeah.
We would have devotion time, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And
Mama
then we
taught
would-
devotion.
Mama taught devotion a lot.
That was her first year.
Yes.
I think,
And
doing that.
of course, she did.
She
well,
did
as always.
amazing.
She had me crying sometimes, so I was
Yeah.
like, "Mom, Mom." Anyway, but they would have to come in, get their name tags.
Yes.
Do you remember that? It was just
Oh,
the
yeah.
They
whole
would sign
process,
in. You know, it was
yes.
really cool.
The whole process was so new to us, but it was
We
cool.
we did a morning lesson, and then we did a morning class,
Yes.
music, and then we broke for snack. Or no. We broke for like an afternoon lesson and then an afternoon class.
We
I don't
didn't
remember how
we
we
didn't
split
we
it up.
didn't do anything in the afternoon. It was all in the morning.
Well, and
I think
other
the
things
morning
we
lesson
learned
was between
was
2-hour classes.
I think
We
I
had,
think
I think
you're
we
right.
had welcome, like everyone got the ukuleles tuned
Yeah.
up,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
prayer,
We had
and
it.
then
And
had
then break
an
into
hour.
groups because Jabot's church was large enough.
It was a
Yes.
big church.
It was a large building. It
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
enough room for us to split up, which was great.
It was very
it
nice.
was really nice.
But
I had a
also-
nice youth room
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
I remember
packed
that.
to
Oh,
the
that was
brim
the
with
new youth
those
room.
25 boys. Yeah. Oh, it was
Fun
fun.
time.
Well,
Times.
also, I was gonna say something.
Was it about?
Well, I do have to say,
Go ahead.
so mom
Man, I had it.
mom
on my phone.
had Bogdan.
Aw.
Yes.
yes,
gem.
who is the
I had
best?
Then
We
you
love
had
him.
Raul. I had Raul's brother Mihai that
Yes.
year.
Oh yeah,
then-
I had Pastor Teo. Who did you have?
No, you had
The
no.
first year, Naomi was second year.
Oh, I
No, it was the
had.
second-
Yes, I
I
had
had-
Pastor Teo the first year.
Yeah, Naomi and Bogdan the second year. That's a whole
Diana
nother
wasn't the
conversation.
first year. Diana, was that the first?
That was second year as
That
well.
was the second
that
year.
was the second year.
I think I had Daniela then.
Yeah, I think you had
Okay.
Daniela.
Did
Maybe.
You might have been together with Jacob.
No,
No, I don't
Well,
remember.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Anyway.
Anywho.
So,
I don't
Naomi,
remember.
I don't know
Why don't
either.
you share your little testimony with your group?
And we'll end with that.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, I will try to make it short. Anyway, so like Joshua mentioned, I had 26
Yes.
girls, 8 to 12. And Pastor Dare was my translator, and we were in like a Sunday school room. So we lined the whole room with chairs, and then I would stand in the middle and like move around, help with fingers and stuff, and then he would just sit and translate for me. And there was a bathroom and everything, so we were like set for the whole hour and a half or whatever
That
we
was their
did.
prayer
Prayer
meeting
room,
I
Sunday
think.
believe
school
so,
room,
yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
We played
Anyway.
games in there too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a multi-purpose room. So out of the 26 girls, I had Alexandra and Violetta. I remember their names very well because of what I'm about to share. They were, their parents, their family was the only gypsy family in that whole church.
Yes.
Yes.
And they are we're sharing what we're told. This is not how we view people, but they were called clean gypsies, meaning they moved out of the gypsy street, which
Yes,
I mean, I
that's a
saw
whole
the
nother
next year.
conversation for another time.
But basically in this 2-mile stretch of road, 2,000 gypsies live.
Yeah.
And it is horrible, horrible conditions. Anyway, they moved out of that once they accepted Christ and joined the church. Pastor Teo helped them move out of that area into a home, and they cleaned up and they keep everything clean, and so they don't anyway that's why they call them clean gypsies anyway. And so they're the only gypsy family in that church. It's the father, the mother, Alexandra, Violetta, and I think they had maybe a couple younger siblings. I
Yes.
don't remember
I think, like, two
exactly.
brothers. something
Maybe.
like that.
Anyway, Alexandra was 9, and I believe Violetta was 7, like almost 8. She was right, they put her in my group because they were sisters. I believe she was 6 or 7. Anyway, and from the first day, I knew there was going to be some trouble because, again, like we mentioned, there's a lot more prejudice and not outright hatred, but just these kids are always taught gypsies are lower class. You shouldn't, sit with them or
if
whatever.
They hear their parents say something.
Or they hear their parents talking about them. Anyway,
Yeah.
so.
And if their parents are particularly.
Colorful.
Yeah.
Colorful.
Exactly. So I felt some tension the first day. Like one girl asked to move because she was sitting by Alexandra and she didn't like her spot. And so there was just some little things and I'm like, okay, not sure exactly how to handle that. And the other thing was Alexandra wouldn't use her real name. I don't remember, the first 2 days she didn't have her real name. And I think the second day I noticed her name change and I was like, I asked her with Pastor Teo's help. I'm like, why is your name different than yesterday? She's like, oh, it's my middle name or something like that. And also the second day, they had on their best dresses. They looked so adorable, but they were wearing them because they wanted to look nice and fit in with the other girls. And they got teased about it that day. And so later, I'm trying to make sure. Anyway, I don't remember if it was the second or third day they got teased about what they were wearing. And so they wanted to go home and change, but they couldn't say that outright. So they were trying to go home early to change because they were getting teased about it. And so when they told me that, I was like, okay, this is not how we're going to do this. And so later that day, so I don't remember if it was the second or third day. Later that day, there something else happened while I was teaching. I don't remember. Something was said, and Alexandra was done.
Y'all played the hand
The
game
hand-
or whatever.
Yeah, okay. I was teaching them
Oh,
rhythm.
yeah.
We had to learn a lot of rhythm in Romania. And
Fun
so
ways to teach rhythm too.
yes, and so
Yes.
one of those ways was everyone would put their hands out and they would just clap over and we would try to stay on beat. So it was like everyone helping each other do the beat and stuff. And it wasn't the girl that asked to move. It was a different girl. Didn't want to put her hand in Alexandra's hand.
Right.
And I had enough. I do not remember to this day. I have no idea what I said. All I remember was talking about comparing myself because I was lighter than most of, Alexandra and Violetta were dark, but then there were other darker complected girls and then lighter complected, but I was one of the lighter ones. And so I was using myself as an example with Alexandra talking about if you cut me and her, it's the same red blood and Jesus's blood for us and stuff. I just remember talking for 10 minutes straight, just saying explaining, because at that time in 2016, there was the other racial issues here in the States. And I was just done because I'm we were having the tension because of
Right.
what was going on in the States while we were gone, and then just being slapped in the face with it here in Romania. So I started crying. They started crying. It was just a huge emotional. We did not learn any ukulele that day. But I just wanted them to know my heart,
Right.
especially being an American. So that's when Alexandra told me her real name. And I was just holding her and Violetta, just talking and sharing. And one of the girls, I do not remember her name, but she was so sweet. She got down on her knees in front of Alexandra. I was just talking to her in Romanian, really soft, sweet. And Pastor Taylor told me later she was apologizing for her friends because those were her friends that were being rude to Alexandra. And then the other 2 girls came and apologized later. And it was just, I felt the Spirit talking through me. Are you crying?
Abby's over there bawling.
If you're
I'm
watching
not
this,
bawling.
Not bawling.
it was
but
just
Not.
Pastor Teo later told Mom, or Mom told me that Pastor Teo talked to her just about how powerful what I said was, and that
Yeah.
it even convicted him, like, of taking that step
Yeah.
with sharing and just teaching about that in the
Yeah.
church and stuff.
Yes.
So,
Because it's tough.
it
It
was
really
very
is.
tough.
It's worse than here.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So after that, and things kind of settled down, I just felt led, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the perfect time. And so then I presented the gospel because of like Jesus breaking all those barriers and saving all of us. And then I passed it over to Pastor Teo, and he did the prayer and stuff. And every single one of those girls, whether they were saved before or not, again, they were all under the age of 12, so
Right.
I'm not sure. But all of them raised their hand. And so we prayed, and it wasn't cut and dry. And I'm sure they're still in discipleship mode. I don't know where most of them are today. But Alexandra was really bitter at such a young age to how people viewed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never could get a smile out of her before that. She was just hard and didn't trust me at all. Violetta, little innocent. She was fine.
She had her older sister.
But she also had her older sister. Yeah,
don't mess, don't mess with my younger
No.
sister.
But after that, when we were leaving, I reached over to hug Alexandra again, and she like was squeezing me, and she wouldn't let me look at her. But the next day, she came running up to give me a hug, and she smiled at me. And the next year, she was in your group, my group. She was in one of our groups, but she was so much more
I don't
vibrant.
remember her being in my group.
I think she was in my group
yours.
again.
Okay.
And
'Cause
she was
I don't
so
remember that.
yeah, she was so much more vibrant, and we'll get more into that. But just letting all of that go and working
Yeah.
with those girls, it was a really powerful experience for me. And just that was probably the first time in my life where I literally didn't have control. That was all the Spirit working through that.
Yeah.
And that experience, and then us watching same kind of different as me in 2017. 18 when the movie came out
It was our first movie that we watched
here in
in
Tennessee.
Knoxville. Yeah.
Those two
One of our
experiences.
first. I don't think it was our first.
Well, it was one of them. I mean, it was early.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
taking Josh's
Those
exact
two,
knife.
no, it's okay. Those two experiences, but especially this 2016 experience in Serbia, fueled the message behind the song "Same Kind of Different" that we sing, that I wrote
Right.
with Joshua and Miss Donna Ulysses.
So
So
a couple last quick things was we had the finale concert, and
Right.
I mean, Pastor
Oh,
Teo
yes.
invited
Oh
so
my
many
word!
different.
So
I mean, we
many-
had
that
that
church was packed.
packed, and it wasn't
And
even some Orthodox people and
Yeah.
unbelievers. I mean, because it was an American concert.
Right.
That's how we kind of advertised it, so that they wouldn't view it as church.
Right.
But Pastor Teo did take the opportunity to give just a short message about the
Short
gospel
for
and
him,
stuff.
anyway.
It was
right,
really good.
short for him. It still was
It was
like
like half
30
an hour.
minutes. But
But
no,
anyway,
no. But anyway, so that, but also traveling back, that was the first time we left out of Budapest,
Yes.
Hungary. So that was kind of
New
fun. It
airport,
was
new
new.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we
Anyway.
had some fun times and all that. So do you have
I
one
wanted to
last
say
thing?
one more thing.
Okay.
Because of course, me tearing up and everything. This has been quite it's very emotional to talk about these
Yeah.
things.
Oh, yeah.
Just want to be honest. That we want to go back. If we had a chance to go back, we would take it right now and go.
Yeah.
And, we'll talk about it more in future parts. We don't know how many parts.
yeah,
this is gonna be.
we don't know.
Anyway, we will
Oh,
talk
we're
about
having
it
big
more
stuff.
about the future and everything because we haven't been in 3 years. It'll
Yeah.
be 3
Yep.
years
Yep.
this summer, and it's hard to. It's sometimes just hard to relive those moments because, again, if I could, I'd be back over there right now.
Yeah.
So we just ask for your prayer in moving forward.
Yes.
And just asking for God's will, because we know He's working in us right now here in the States. So we just want to trust his will, trust his work. It's not for us, it's for him. So I just wanted to
Amen.
kind of end with that. And
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I may close out.
Yes,
Do it.
Thank
you
you for
may,
listening
dearie.
to this
Yes.
full podcast. I'm sure it's a
It's
long
probably
one.
in parts.
We don't time it. I don't.
No.
But
Oh man.
it's we just thank y'all for joining us.
Yes.
Thank y'all for listening. If you haven't already, subscribe to this
Yes.
podcast.
Please.
Let others know if you enjoyed it. Share the love. This has been enjoyable to start podcasting
know,
this
right?
year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just having
It's been
family
really fun.
conversations with y'all as listeners, with ears listening in. Y'all are eavesdropping. Anyway,
Hey, there you go.
eavesdroppers.
Yes.
But we love it.
not sure.
And what?
I was processing the
I thought
Name.
it was funny. It wasn't. Was it?
mostly funny. Go
What
ahead.
do y'all
Finish.
think?
Fine. Y'all are
Eavesdroppers.
listening in, tuning in. Thank y'all. Anyway, we are on other social media platforms if you want
Yes.
to connect more. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all fun stuff. Someone burped.
Yeah,
was
that was a
Jacob.
nice burp.
I was kidding.
All fun stuff. We have fun
Did you
fun
have to
times
say
over
something
there.
about
Yes,
it?
I love it. 3D. Come on. Anyway, we'll see ya. Kinda. You'll hear
Sorta.
from us
Oh yeah.
Sometime.
next episode as we continue talking about our mission work and music being a universal language. We love y'all, and as always,
Peace, love, fam.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions or standard of the family Sowell.
Have a lovely day.